Three, two, three, two. Turn up the lights in here, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Turn on the lights in here, baby. You know what I need. Want you to see everything. Want you to see all of the lights. What? Say fast cars, shooting stars, all of the lights, all of the lights. Until it's Vegas, everywhere we are, all of the lights, huh? Whoa, oh, 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 oh. If you want it, you can get it for the rest of your life. Oh, 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 oh. If you want it, you can get it for the rest of your life. Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I've been your host. I am your host. I keep saying I've been your host. Like I'm not currently the host of this thing that we call the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. Welcome. Happy New Year. It is now January 1st when you are seeing this. It is currently December 31st as I'm recording this. Happy New Year to you all. You all are now currently in the future. How is 2025 treating y'all so far? I don't know. I'm not there yet, but you all are. And I'm just so happy for you guys being there. Listen, I want to start this pod off by saying there is no real direction for this podcast. I have no notes. I personally haven't seen anything that has interested me enough to warrant to be talking about these things. This might be a recap episode of the year. This might be a life episode. I don't know what this is going to be, but just know we're going to have a good time. This is going to be very no direction. This can go any way that I choose it to go, which is very scary. If this is your first time watching the Art Spot podcast, I'm so sorry that this is your first episode. If this is your first time watching the Art Spot podcast, I'm so sorry that this is your first episode ever watching. Usually I'm better prepared. I usually have a whole itinerary. Usually have about 4 or 5 things, 3 to 5 things that I want to talk about every pod. This pod just so happens to be the pod that I have nothing interests me this week. It was a couple things that I seen, but nothing enough that like I was like, oh, this is pod worthy. It was just like, news is news. You feel me? News is news. So if this is your first time watching our Spot podcast, we have this thing that we do. Depending on the platform that you're listening on. So if you're listening on, or if you're watching on YouTube, first and foremost, hi, this is my face. Nice skin glow. I got the Bruce Leroy glow. I got the Bruce Leroy glow. I don't know. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, you can't see me, but right now your boy is glowing. I got the Bruce Leroy glow. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a pod. And most importantly, share with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell an auntie about the Arts Block podcast. Y'all keep sitting up here watching your auntie. I keep saying her watching your auntie, but she ain't telling your auntie about the Arts Block podcast, and that's your problem. Secondly, if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, Podcaster, Rodecaster isn't a thing. iHeart. Any of your favorite podcast platforms, if you're listening on there's about like 7 or 8 that I'm on. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I mean, don't do none of those. Wait, I'm messing up. No, not those things. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, make sure you give me a 5-star and a review. Just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. All right. You know what I was thinking about earlier today? I was thinking about the term New Year, New Me. And I felt like this was a very appropriate thing to talk about since we are now entering the new year. I felt like this was a very appropriate topic to bring up on the pod, and a very appropriate discussion to have. New Year, New Me. Listen, I hate when you all say that. New Year, New Me. New Year, New Me. New Year, New Me. Because what's really changing about you? Oh! Also, and wait, before I even get into that, another very important announcement that I want to make. I am recording this at 4 p.m. Usually, I record these pods at nighttime. So if you're watching on YouTube and you see like lighting changes and you see like the room get like hella dark all of a sudden, well, that's because daylight savings and all of that, and it gets dark early, and I'm recording in the middle of the day at prime time, get dark hours. Don't worry about it. Just ignore it. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, back to what I was saying. New year, new me, right? I be sitting up here and I be seeing y'all post. I be seeing everything. I be seeing everything that y'all post, that y'all say. If you don't believe me, follow me on Instagram at Arts Block Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at Arts Block Podcast, and or follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III, and you can just see how much of the things that I see of you guys that post, and I see everything that you guys post, and the most common thing that I see being posted, especially now in these past couple of weeks, ever since Christmas kind of came and went, and Christmas went by fast as a mug, didn't it? Christmas, when I tell you Christmas came and went, Christmas stopped by, got a plate, and went on with its life, and I appreciate that so much. But ever since Christmas passed, you all have been posting this new year, new me. Y'all been back at it. Y'all been doing this ever since forever. And y'all been back on the new year, new me. It's a new year, new me. I'm going to start X, Y, and Z. I'm going to start this, that, and the third. I'm going to start boom, boom, and boom, right? And I love the enthusiasm. I'm just going to start off there. I'm going to start off positive before I burst your bubbles and dreams on how your year is actually going to go. I'm so sorry, but you guys know I'm gonna have to do it. I love that you guys are enthusiastic on how the year is going to go. I love that you guys are like, nah, new year, new me. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. We're gonna go up this year. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna start eating healthy. I'm gonna start the business. I'm gonna write the book. I'm gonna release the album. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z this year. 2025 is my year. Word, right? I appreciate you guys, and I love that, and I love that you guys are goal setting, and you guys are reaching for things that the dreams that you wanted to reach for, right? I'm so proud of you. However, right, I hate the term new year, new me, because for a lot of you, it's never new. It's never a new you. It's always the old you or the same you, or the you that we have been seeing for the past however many years. It's always that you that shows up by the end of the year. It's never the new you that you said at the beginning of the year is going to be. It's always the same you that started every single year for the past however many years you've been alive. No changes, no iOS updates, no new DLC, no new nothing. There's nothing new at all about you. You just stayed the same, which is okay. It's not, but I'm just affirming you. I'm just trying to be nice to you right now, and that's okay. That's fine. Right? There's nothing new about you, but don't say that is new year, new you if you're not going to change. And change is a scary thing. It takes a lot to change and to develop and to become different and to be, become a different person, right? It takes a lot. And change can mean a various amount of things, right? Change can mean like my finances are going to change, my health is going to change, my spiritual health is going to change, my mental health is going to change, my family dynamics is going to change, my housing situation is going to change, right? New year, new me is so generic. And I feel like when you make all of these goals that are very generic and are very like, oh, new year, new me, and I want to change everything about my life in this 1 year, it becomes so overwhelming that you end up changing nothing about your life in that year. And then you go back the next year having the same goals that you had for the previous year. Like, how many of y'all started 2024 with 2023 goals? Damn. Woo, boy, that was good. That was good. That was good. Hold on. That was good. That was good. Hold on. I'm cooking. How many of y'all started 2024 with 2023 goals? How many of y'all was like, man, new year, new me, it's 2024. We're going to start doing this. Everything that I didn't do last year, which is everything on your list, by the way, everything that I didn't do last year, we're going to do this year. And you didn't do none of that this year. Now, some of you, a small percentage of you, actually accomplished things this year. And I'm proud of you, and this conversation isn't for you. This conversation is for the people who put so much on their plate, they can't finish nothing on their plate. You put so much on your plate. You're at Thanksgiving, right? Let's go back to November real quick. You at Thanksgiving. You get your turkey, you get your mac and cheese, you get the yams, and you get the mac and cheese and the yams at the same time because you want some of the yam juice to touch the mac and cheese just a little bit, not a whole bunch, just a little bit. It's just like the little. It's like the little mac and cheese, the yam juice just kissed the mac and cheese, and you want that, and then you want the collard greens right next to that, and then you want my Thanksgiving's are fancy. We're gonna have the lobster mashed potatoes with that, then we're gonna have the stuffed salmon with that, and then you're gonna have the cornbread, then you're gonna have the sweet potato cornbread, and then we're gonna have both the Biscoff pound cake and the regular pound cake too. These are my Thanksgivings. This is what I eat at Thanksgiving. This is for me. I don't know what y'all do at Thanksgiving, but this is what my Thanksgivings look like, right? And there's so much on the plate. The plate is hefty. You damn near need 2 plates to put everything on so you can get everything. You damn near need 2 plates. And you're sitting there, you're walking, you eat, you stop with the turkey, you eat the turkey, it's like, that's good. Then you get some mac and cheese and like, that's banging. And you get the mac and cheese again, and you dip some of that yam juice in, and you like, that's the one right there, that's the one. And then you get some yams, and you get some greens, and you get all this stuff, right? And you eat a little bit of everything. But on your plate, it's a whole lot of. But after you're done eating a little bit of everything, you realize you have no room for the rest of the food that you put on your plate. Instead of you getting a little bit of each thing, you got excited. Your eyes was wide. You like, oh my goodness, this is my chance to eat everything at the same time. I'm gonna get as much as I can, and I'm gonna fill my plate as much as I can. However, you can't eat everything that's on that plate. Same thing with the new year, right? To tie that back to the new year, you make all of these goals. I'm gonna start going to the gym. I'm gonna start my business. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna wake up this early. I'm gonna do this devotional every single day. I'm gonna do this for my prayer life. And you make all of these goals, which are great goals, but y'all miss key things that make these goals happen, right? Say you want to wake up at 5:00 in the morning. And that's a goal that you have every day in the year. You want to wake up at 5:00 in the morning so you can go to the gym, right? For the first week, 2 weeks, month and a half, maybe you might do it. But after that month and a half, what happens? You get tired, you get fatigued, that discipline starts slowing down, that motivation starts going down, and that New Year's resolution starts becoming next year's resolution. Instead of you being like, you know what? I want to work on my discipline this year. I just want to be disciplined in one area of my life, so then that discipline can fall into other areas of my life. That's what I realized about discipline, right? Discipline is easy if you can find one area to be disciplined in. If you can focus on discipline in one area in your life, right? So say like you want to be financially disciplined. And you want to be like, man, I want to make sure that I don't exceed X amount of dollars in my spending limit for however long. And that's your type of discipline that you want to be. Then let that be that. And then that you'll find out that, okay, I know I can do this. I know I can exceed not spending, I don't know, however much many dollars that you tend to spend, right? I know I can say it's $500, right? I know I'm disciplined enough to not spend $500. Now let's see if I'm disciplined enough to go and do X, Y, and Z, something else that I wanted to do, and work till you're disciplined towards that and be like, okay, boom, 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 right? You are setting goals with no foundation. You're trying to build a fucking skyscraper, and your cornerstones are weak. Your corners are weak. The ground, the foundation is weak. You're trying to plant a tree, but the soil is fucking awful. How you gonna plant a tree in bad soil? That doesn't even make sense. The soil all dry, and it hasn't rained in fucking years where you are, and you're trying to plant a tree there with fucked up soil. That's impossible. You can't do that. How you gonna do that? You're trying to you're aiming for the stars, reaching for the moon with no spaceship. You need to build a spaceship. I said the spaceship. Lord Jesus, please cover my tongue, Jesus. Please cover my tongue as I'm talking on this podcast, because I be stumbling, fumbling, bumbling, rumbling over words all the time. Lord have mercy. But you're trying to go to space with no spaceship, and you're doing like, I'm gonna go to space this year, and you know what, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but then you don't have a spaceship, and then you're like, oh well, I guess I can't do it. Listen, I love that we all have goals. I love that we all enter the new year and we're like, oh, new year, new me. New year, new me. I'm gonna be a changed person. I'm letting all of these things go in 2024. That is y'all favorite thing now. Nowadays, that's y'all favorite thing. Instead of saying, "Oh, new year, new me. These are the goals that I want to have." A lot of y'all are saying, "Oh man, I'm going to release all of these things, so in the new year, I won't be doing all of these things." Hey! I just have a suggestion, right? If you really wanted to, if you really wanted to, and if you really did see a problem in a lot of the things that you do, and if you really wanted to change a lot of the habits that you have, then you would have done that when you realized a change needed to be made. You wouldn't have waited until the first to make the changes. You would have made the change when it's made. For example, you don't get gas when your car is at E. When your car is at E, that's not when you go to the gas station. You get in your car, you look, you be like, oh, I only got a quarter of a tank. Hold on, I need to go get gas. Or, oh, my car's about to be at E. I need to go get gas. You don't be like, oh, damn, my car at E. Let's drive until we get to E. No, you don't do that. You get gas when you feel like you need to get gas. You guys are making changes, or you guys are getting gas for this metaphor purpose. You guys are getting gas when your gas tank is empty. You have nothing left. You can't drive. Your car can't drive, and y'all like, oh damn. Well, I guess I gotta make a change. I guess I gotta make a pit stop. I can't drive no more. Like, dog. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's not real. That's not real. The new year brings out a lot of the most, like, the fakest and phoniest change quotes and revolutionary quotes that I've ever seen in my life. Like, the new year always brings you know what? This year I set these goals and I didn't hit them, but next year I'm gonna do it, right? Next year I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. Next year I'm gonna do that. But guess what? One year, there won't be a next year. Everybody has an expiration date. 1 year, there won't be a next year. 1 year is that 1 year is going to be your last year here on Earth. And say you know that. Say you don't know that before, but when the year starts, you get mail, or you get like a messenger, right? And they're like, "Hey, this is your last year on Earth." And you hear that and you're like, oh shit, I pushed off everything that I wanted to do in my life until next year. And now I'm here at the end of the road and I'm like, oh damn, like, well, like it's too late now. It's too late. You pushed everything back to next year instead of just committing to one thing and committing to a main thing, right? So I know a lot of you all are going to write a list, or you have already written lists, or you guys already made New Year's resolutions, right? And you probably spent last night celebrating at the bar, at the club. 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year! Whoa! You did all of that stuff, right? Which is beautiful, which is great. That's as you should. That's what you should do, right? It's the New Year, celebrate. But what's not going to happen after the celebration, right? Or what's going to stop shortly after the celebration is you're going to forget all of the goals that you set for the year. And then at the end of the year, when you're ready to write goals again, you're going to go back into that notebook that you never wrote any ideas down, that we always talk about here on the pod. We always talk about writing ideas. We always talk about execution. We always talk about how writing ideas and execution, all of these things, right? I preach these things every week, damn near every week. And you're going to go back and you're going to open your book and you're going to see 2024 goals. And then you're going to get sad and depressed that you didn't hit none of these goals. And then you're going to be like, damn, like what did I do throughout the year? And you done fucked the year away. But instead of just sitting down and just being like, hey, you know what? Instead of new year, new me, we're going to do new year, new opportunities. We're going to say new year, new chance. We're going to say new year, new advancements. We're going to say new year, new, like, these are the things that we should be saying instead of new year, new me. I don't, honestly, if I'm being honest, but if my friend comes to me and says, I say new year, new me as a joke. And I'm always joking when I say that. And my friends know that I'm joking when I say that. I say new year, oh, new year, new me. And they be like, oh, Eric, shut up. And they know I'm joking, right? But if one of my friends came up to me and said, "New year, new me," and they're like, "Man, I'm gonna change this year," but their habits last year didn't show the change, didn't allude to changes that they're gonna make this year, I'm gonna sit them down and be honest with them, and I'm gonna say, "No, you're not." Because until your habits change, you're not gonna change. Everything starts with the mind. Everything starts mentally. So if mentally there's nothing that clicked, there's nothing like, oh damn, you know what? Let me lock in on this goal, right? Then that's when the change happens. But if there's nothing that happens, there's no like switch, there's nothing that like clicks, there's no light bulb or nothing, and you're just sitting here and be like, you know what, man, I'm a do X, Y, and Z, but none of your habits from the year shows that you're working towards this thing, then I'm just gonna sit there and be like, well, I'm like, I wish you the best, but I doubt that these things are going to happen for you. Not because I hate you, not because I don't love you, not because you're not my friend, but I'm actually telling you this because you're my friend. I'm telling you this because I love you. I'm telling you this so I can be honest with you in about what's going on, right? A lot of y'all aren't honest enough with yourselves. A lot of y'all aren't honest enough with your peers. A lot of y'all aren't honest enough, and a lot of y'all are basing your relationships and how you see yourselves off of lies that you want to hear for yourselves, or lies that you tell yourselves. So a lot of you all are basing the lies that you heard, the lies that you have felt, the lies that you have been told, the lies that you have been telling yourself, and then you're making goals based off of those lies. Like, you know what, I can do this. I'm Superman, I'm Superwoman, I can do X, Y, and Z. Nigga, your weakness isn't kryptonite, your weakness is that man. Your weakness isn't kryptonite, your weakness is them damn sports betting apps. Your weakness isn't kryptonite, your weakness is the damn McDonald's on fucking Benning Road. We have to sit here and be real with ourselves. Like, we're not Superman, we're not Superwoman, we're human beings. We're not superheroes, we're human beings. So, and guess what? I said it earlier today. Players fuck up too. If you're a player, it's bound to happen. Players mess up too. And that's okay. But we have to be honest with ourselves about these things, right? And we have to not go into the new year with same habits. We can't go into the new year with old people. We can't go into the new year with all of these things and then expect for the new year to be a new you. Nah, it's going to be the same you because you didn't change anything before. When you made your list of things that you wanted to change, you should have started that day, not for January 1st. I made my list that same night, I started changing some of the habits that I put on the list of things that I wanted to change. You shouldn't be like, oh, I want to change X, Y, and Z. And once you have that realization of you want to change X, Y, and Z, wait until the 1st of January to change it. Like, man, this November, I want to start going to the gym. You know what? I'm going to wait until January 1st because we're so close. No, nigga, go to the gym that day. You have the thought. You know what? I want to go to the gym. I'm about to go to the gym and get me a gym membership. And as I'm getting the gym membership, right after I get the gym membership, I'm going to go do my first workout. That should be the mindset. Not, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait. Because guess what? If you're going to wait for that, you're going to wait for the next thing. And then you're going to wait for the next thing. And then you're going to wait for the next thing. And then you're going to wait for the next thing. And goddamn it, I can't hang around no waiting niggas. I can't hang around people who are just waiting. And I don't mean people who are waiting for like a blessing or waiting for like, you know, things to happen, right? People who are putting in the work, putting in the effort when they have the idea, putting in the I don't even know the word, but just putting in the work, right? To get things done and things just aren't happening for them. I'm not talking about that, right? But I'm talking about people who have the idea, who have the thought, who wants to be like, man, I want my life to change. I want to do X, Y, and Z, right? I want to be whoop. Like that. Like, what if I keep saying that I'm going to be the #1 pod in the world and not pod? That's crazy, right? That sounds
That doesn't even sound right. What does it sound like for me to be like, oh man, I'm a have my own show on Apple Music and then but not do no radio shows, not do no playlists, not do nothing. I'm just sitting there doing nothing. What does that sound like? What does it sound like for me saying, you know what, I'm going to bulk up by the end of the year and I'm going to gain some muscle, but I'm not going to the gym? Like, what does this sound like? Or even worse, me having these ideas like, you know, I'm going to be the #1 podcast and not when I had the idea, just go on and write immediately. You know what? Story time, quick story time, right? And my time's running short. So I'm gonna try to keep this quick as possible. When I first started the Arts Block podcast, when I first came up with the idea of the Arts Block podcast, I was sitting in the Taraji P. Henson masterclass over COVID, right? It was a Zoom masterclass. And Taraji P. Henson got on the masterclass and she said, one of the first things that she said, because Taraji loved to talk. Taraji loved to go on these rants and be long. She loves it. And I love it, right? I love when she gets to talking, right? So she went on one of her talks and she was like, man, listen, Hollywood needs content. Hollywood needs your book. Hollywood needs your play. Hollywood needs actors. Hollywood needs poets. Hollywood needs playwrights. Hollywood needs podcasters, right? And as soon as she said podcasters, the light bulb clicked. And the reason the light bulb clicked is because a couple months before, when I was in South Carolina with my mom, because at the time my mom lived in South Carolina, and while I was there with my mom, I kept seeing podcasts pop up on my TikTok page. And I kept seeing all of these podcasts, and kept seeing all these people who started podcasts. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this thing, right? But the idea just passed away, right? I didn't really think too deep into it. Then after the Taraji P. Henson masterclass, and she said that, you don't want to know what I did? I left the masterclass. I opened my notebook, started writing out the plan for Arts Block podcast. Then I went on my TV, got on YouTube, and started searching up everything that I need to start a podcast. I started searching up mics. I started searching up interfaces. I started searching up cameras. I started searching up lights. I started searching up programs. I started searching up editing software. I started searching up all of these things to make sure that when I start a podcast or when I have the opportunity to start a podcast, I will be ready, right? And I started doing all of this planning. I told my dad that I wanted to start a podcast. He was like, I bet, cool. My birthday was like not too far away. I think I told him this in like it was like the middle of August. My birthday's in September. My birthday is September 19th. For my birthday, he got me a podcast mic. He got me a Blue Yeti microphone. And as soon as I got that microphone, not like a couple weeks after that, I scheduled my first interview with my homegirl Moya. Shout out Mo. And then I started and uploaded a podcast. That's how that went. That's what happened. That's how the Arts Block podcast started. That's how an idea turned from just an idea to something way more. To now me being like, I'm going to be #1 podcast. Same thing with the radio show, right? I had this idea my senior year of high school. I was like, you know what? I want to start a radio show. I really want to start a radio show. That's when I realized that I had a deep passion for music. I had a deep passion for talking about music. I had a deep passion for like listening to music and finding cool things about the music that I listened to. This is when I found that out. And once I found that out, I was like, you know what? I want to start a radio show. And I told my homegirl about it. I told not Moya, but I told my homegirl Sana about it, and she was like, you know what? I bet. You know, I'm going to and she kind of like tried to like store me into that, right? But I just wasn't ready at the time. There was a lot going on. I just wasn't ready at the time. But my freshman year of high school, my freshman year of college, when I looked on my school's website and I seen that they had a radio station available, and I was like, oh snap, I can now do the radio, and I can now do my radio show. And I started writing out the plan for my radio show, and I applied for the radio show, and I got the radio show, and I started doing the show. When you have the idea, and I'm not saying this to make it seem like, oh, I'm better than you because I execute. No, what I'm saying is when you have the idea, execute on the idea. You will spend your whole, I can't stand people that do the what if stories. I can't stand the what if stories, man. What if we did this? What if I did that? What if X, Y, and Z, right? I can't stand the what if stories. I can't live with what ifs. I can't live with that. I would rather try and fail than to live and be like, damn, what if something happened? I would rather fall on my ass 100 times than to try and be like, damn, or than to not try and be like, oh man, I wish I would have tried. I wish this would have happened. I wish that would have happened. I'm not Ray J. I don't ask for one wish. I just do what I want to do, and that's it. I grind, I work, I have ideas, I execute ideas, I make ideas happen. It's rare when I have an idea and it's something that is boiling in me and it's something that my heart is sits heavy on and it's something that I genuinely like really want to do and I think it could really be a huge change and be something like that can really help people, right? It's rare when I have those type of ideas and they're not executed. It's rare when that happens. It's rare when those ideas aren't executed. It's rare when I sit and I see the vision and I see it happening and I see the things going well. And after I see it, I don't act on it. It's rare when that happens. So in 2025, for the love of God, for the love of yourselves, for the love of yourself, don't make unrealistic goals without setting the foundation of what those goals are going to be. Once the foundation is set, don't be scared to dive deep into those goals. Don't be discouraged when things get hard. Don't be discouraged when things get tough. Don't be discouraged when things don't go your way. Because guess what? We are not perfect, but we are progressing. So when things don't go your way, just know that that's a part of the progress that helps you get to that point where you need to be. It happens. Shit happens. You're not the only one going through it. There's 1,000,010 other people going through it just like you are. But with that 1,000,010 people, guess how many people are going to stop? 1,000,000. Don't be one of the 1,000,000 people that stops what they're doing because things get hard. I was one of those 1,000,000 people at one time. And then I had to pick myself up and be like, you know what? I'm not going to stop because it got difficult or hard. I'm a pivot, find something else, and I'm going to keep doing what I got to do to make my dreams happen and make my dreams into a reality. That's just what I'm going to do. You have to do the same thing. You have to have that same type of intensity, that same type of mindset if you want to make your dreams come true. And trust me, if you adopt that, if you act on it, if you grind, work hard, do all of the things, it will happen. Trust. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Arsenal Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry III. I'm going to give y'all my dead or alive before I go. My first dead or alive of the new year. This is kind of crazy. Ooh. If you're new here, hello. If this is your first time watching the Arts Block Podcast, hello. If this is your last time watching the Arts Block Podcast, goodbye. But Dead or Alive is a segment on the podcast where me or the artist on the podcast gets to choose artists that we would like to work with that is dead or alive. Now, we can choose one artist. We can choose 100 artists. This is my pod. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I want to work with. You know what? Me and my mom was talking about Jason Bateman today, and I feel like that would be a cool guy to work with, Jason Bateman. I want to work with. I don't know why she keeps popping up in my head, but Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys. I would like to work with Alicia Keys on something. And lastly, I would like to work with. You know what? Robert Glasper, right? I seen this thing on Instagram. Robert Glasper, he was like playing with this orchestra. It was like Robert Glasper, Bilal, and like an orchestra, right? And they sounded amazing. Like it sounded so good. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Art Spot Podcast. I am your host, Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. That's ERICCURRYIII. You can follow the podcast at Arts Block Podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. Remember that artists never die. Remember that I love you. God loves you. Do something that you love every single day. Do it with meaning. Do it with passion. Do it with purpose. Do it with love. Remember, it's not new year, new you. It's new year, new opportunity. New year, new meaning. New year, new purpose. It's not new year, new you. Get out of that mindset of new year, new you. It hasn't been working for the last couple of years. Let's switch it up. Change it up. Let's come on. Let's have this year be the best year of our lives, okay? Thus far. Let's go. See y'all when I see y'all, boys. Let's start the year strong. Peace and love. I am out.